It's Dingus versus Piluco today. We're going to be watching Eldar versus IG, a matchup that I've been scared to watch. Well, not really Eldar, I'm just scared to watch IG these days, to be honest. But we'll see how Piluco does. If he's going to go for double guardsman or not. He is. I think this is actually quite a bad map for double guardsman. It's very awkward as the IG on this map side capping, I find. But presumably there'll be one squad of Kadashins for that. The problem is the Eldar can just get a squad of shurikens, which, well, one shuriken, and it will counter your side capping Kadashin quite well. And the shuriken is a lot leaner in terms of the eco on the Eldar than the Kadashins are on the IG, which is a reason to avoid getting the Sergeant. Piluco getting the Sergeant way too early. Way too early. He's using these guys to cap and he's not going to be using them to fight for a very long time. There's no reason to get the Sergeant this early. You're now paying an extra, what, 8 requisition per minute just because you purchased it from that point at which you've had him. Right now he's just sitting in cover repairing. You don't need a Sergeant. Furthermore is the opportunity cost of delaying your power nodes / gens. So not only are you paying 8 requisition per minute, depending on how long you've had this unnecessarily, you're also losing out on energy income as well that you would have gotten sooner. This is where it'd be really nice to have a timer. We'd been able to say, right, the time was 1 minute 20 when he purchased this Sergeant, and then we could see when he finally needs the Sergeant for combat, because obviously right now he doesn't need the Sergeant. And then we can say, right, so he's just spent 5 minutes unnecessarily running around with a Sergeant. That has cost him the opportunity cost on the power of 85 requisition to buy the Sergeant, but it's also cost him 40 requisition in upkeep, kind of thing. And then this is, okay, this is really fucking weird. He's running around with no Sergeant on this squad, yet this is the one that's seeing combat. So this is just a macro error. Strategically, his positioning of his guardsman squads is abysmal. The unupgraded one is in combat repairing, and the upgraded one is running around capping. But okay, he's going to rotate the Sergeant Guardsman into the middle here, which makes sense. Stop presumably on cooldown. Yep, this pushes these Eldari out of the cover. But Banshee's getting into melee with the Lord General. Unfortunately, the Banshee's only coming out with 3 models here, so they're not going to achieve a whole lot. Trying to kill a Stormtrooper, but just risking bleeding themselves. So yeah, they got to get out of there. Bit of a dodgy Destructor. And double Rangers on the field. Artillery spotters here for Piluco. So yeah, I should think that the side capping might be difficult. Oh, Rangers gonna put a huge amount of pressure onto the Sentinel right now. Will the spotter save it? Wow, very close to wiping those fools. But the double shells go in. Rangers just gonna back off to the base. Very short retreat distance there, so not too bad of a deal. It's a good map actually for Rangers. I would go for 1 shuriken now. And I know that's a bit weird given that there are spotters, but it gives you the transitional AV to deal with any Chimera play in tier 2. Really, the shuriken is amazing to protect side lanes. The Lord General can't bully his way into a shuriken, but he can just sort of force melee onto a Guardian or a long rifle ranger. You put the shuriken over here, you lock this area down. If he rotates his artillery spotters over to the side to deal with the sideline shuriken, then that means the artillery spotters aren't dealing with the rangers in the middle, and you can really get some work going on them. So let's see. The Rangers exist to put pressure onto the Sentinel, but double guardsman being around it is going to mitigate a lot of that pressure. The Rangers will out DPS the double guardsman repairs. Whilst the Warlock's tanking, that's pretty good. A little bit slow on the retreat there. Lost an unnecessary model, but not too big of a deal. Only 1 Guardian model. But yeah, you see with the artillery spotters in play, Sentinel can kind of just tank, push through. If you force the artillery spots to move to the sidelines with a shuriken, you'll be alright. And looking at the build, you know, the eco, you've got the eco for it. Oh, Piluco went for double spotters for some reason. That's okay, that's really weird. What the fuck? So with double spotters, I'm thinking you go Autark in tier 2 and just melee this twat. He's a Lord General as well, so he's already more vulnerable to melee than a normal IG would be. The Lord General is the most vulnerable hero in the IG roster to melee because he himself can't get a powerful melee weapon to counter-initiate, and he doesn't have the control abilities that the Inquisitor has. So yeah, I'm thinking now, right, this guy's got double spotters, he's a Lord General, he's got no Cadishans. I'm just going to melee him in tier 2. You've got the Rangers as well, so you can really pressure the Sentinel. So the Sentinel should drop in tier 2 when you get the Guardian Warlock as well. And I'd go for the Autark. Cloak of Shadows. Ethereal Slash. Happy times. But yeah, it's a bit awkward here. Obviously the Eldar can't take a straight up firefight. I don't know what those Guardians are doing against, say, Lord General and Guardsman in green cover. Quite pointless. Bleeding the Lord General's quite nice here. That is a big downside of the Lord General. It's got the stabilizers too. But that's 20 requisition on from the LG. Not bad. Mortar? Wow. Yeah, Banshee's very fast, aren't they? You ever noticed that, guys? Banshees are fast. Nice stabilizers there, healing everyone up. It can be a big downside. Beautiful stabilizers. Oh, it's so strange, he's still running these guys around with no Sergeant. I actually think getting a Sergeant on these guys would be a good idea. Because he is using them in combat and they're bleeding. It's quite a lot more DPS and it makes you reinforce a lot more effective. And it's way more HP for the squad, which is useful when you keep getting poked by Rangers. But yeah, Piluco's actually going to get tier 3. Sorry, tier 3, fucking hell. Well, we're not there yet. Tier 2 first. Dingus went for side-capping default Ranger squad, which is a really interesting alternative approach. I guess it's actually quite a nice idea, given that there is no Kadishan Devils. It's a lot cheaper than even a Shuriken, and it's compared to a Shuriken, it's way more mobile, and if it's less vulnerable to spotters too. Stomp is in play. Let's see if we can hit these Banshees. It's going to be awkward. They're split up all over the place. Yeah, and we're fleet of foot. They easily evade the Stomp. We've got some Stormtroopers coming out. They might just wait with the default hotshot lasguns. Yeah. Wait to see what kind of tier 2 purchase Dingus Khan makes. He's going for Wraithguard, which I really don't think is a good idea. Because, well, Wraithguard are best against Chimera, fully upgraded Guardsmen and Kadishan Devils. All these sort of immobile things that want to stand and trade with you. But we're fighting like hit and run units here with the Sentinel, the Spotters and the Assault Kit Stormtroopers. So Wraithguard I think are going to struggle to actually hit the IG units who are going to try and avoid standing and trading with the Eldar in the first place. I really think he's vulnerable to melee right now. And the Assault Kit Stormtroopers, they themselves are vulnerable to the Autark. In fact, the Autark is one of the best counters to them. Because they've got superior range compared to normal units, which is a bit of a problem. Even if you've gone for triple Guardians and you've got that crazy durability against range attacks in tier 2 when you get the Warlocks and triple Guardians, you'll still struggle because you'll never be in range of these guys. They ask 5.5 movement speed as well. So it's just really hard to catch them, but obviously the Autark can leap in on top of them and chop them up, and they are very expensive to reinforce if you can kill a few models. Then, the Autark also has a Scorpion Shield passive ability, which means everything around her takes less damage from ranged. You're fighting IG. Literally everything here is ranged. It's a really good passive. And that protects your Banshees. When she leaps on top of the Banshees, they get healed, they do more damage, and they can move faster. So then you run in and just dice up all these IG. I think the Autark is the play. We'll see what the Wraithguard can do, but I'm not optimistic. Maybe if he can get rid of the Sentinel, that'll help quite a bit. Good use of Hollow Field could do it, but right now, yeah, they've been spotted. So Piluco knows what the threat is here. And we've got the sniper rifle on the Lord General. Oh, it's going to be so annoying. But here we go, Distort Field plus the Fleet of Foot with the Exarch Banshee means these guys are not taking a lot of damage from ranged, and obviously they prioritise getting into melee there with the Stormtroopers. Spotters in a very bad position there, very slow to retreat. They go for the mortar and the retreat and it hits. They've not killed the Exarch yet. The Stomp went in on the Wraithguard earlier to keep them busy. Rangers trying to tie up the Lord General, but they're very, very squishy. Guardsman and Spotter's going to rotate the lasguns on them, and more. They're getting minced. They need to get out of there. Rangers need to stay to the sidelines. Nice effort, lads, but come on. They did bleed a couple of models off the Lord General, so that's something, I suppose, but ultimately, I'd say that was not a very good engagement for Dingus. I'm not sure how many Stormtrooper models he bled, actually. That might be what decides it. He needs to try and find a way to get rid of this Sentinel. Unfortunately, a little bit of idling here with a Warlock. Tier 3 for both players. Oh, nice flare. Getting line of sight. Also detects the Rangers. Pretty good. Helps the Stormtroopers and the Sentinel hunt them down. It's one of the best things about Rangers. They've got the highest natural sight range of any unit in the game. So they can often see you when you can't see them. By that I mean the actual players, I don't mean infiltration. They've also got a superior detection range to most detectors. They're a cool unit. But yeah, Dingus does manage to fully cap the natural of Piluco. We'll have to see where he can take that. Anywhere. Not getting Guardian upgrades in this matchup seems madness to me. I actually really like triple Guardians in the matchup. Against the Lord General, triple Guardians and one Ranger and Banshees is actually a really good build. But yeah, you can see the Banshees are going kind of fucking crazy. Again, Distort Field. They wipe the Stormtroopers, turn around, start dicing up Spotters. Really, really effective once they get that Exarch for the damage resistance against ranged when they use fleet. I think, honestly, like, what have the Wraithguard done here? Have they achieved much? I don't really think so. I mean, they did explode a Stormtrooper right there, but I don't know. And I feel like the more micro your opponent has, the worse the Wraithguard gets. So the higher the skill level gets that you're playing at, the worse the Wraithguard get. Like I say, they are good if you're fighting fully upgraded guardsmen that are trying to stand and trade with commissars. If there's chimeras in play and they're trying to reinforce through fights. They're good against Cadishan Devils because Cadishans can't fire on the move whilst they're trying to get into melee, and Cadishans have a huge model count that's vulnerable. But against this hit and run style of IG, it's just not very strong. I'd rather have an Autark. Scorpion Shield will make all of these lasguns quite weak, and then you've just got another unit to go into melee with. And it increases the wipe potential of your Banshees when you can increase their damage and speed with a jump. All those times when the Banshees have got onto Spotters or Stormtroopers, imagine if you had an Autark jump in, buff their speed and damage. It'd be really, really scary for them. Especially because it's the Lord General. Now, I wouldn't give that advice if it was the Inquisitor and she can just click a sail, point and click, yeah, your Banshees can't move. You know what I mean? That's a different thing entirely, but the Lord General doesn't really have any options against it. The best thing he can do is use move with his grenade launchers, but then he's got grenade launchers, which means he doesn't have this crazy plasma gun ranged buff. Okay, we're getting some Guardsman upgrades now, only plasma guns, which I find so strange. Why has he prioritised plasma guns instead of Bullgrins? So he got tier 3 and he got Ogrins. You would assume that he wants Bullgrins. He actually just procced a nice well, it wasn't even a special, it was the second ability, the second wave of knockback from Use Your Head by the Ogrins, and you can see once that stopped, the Seer Council went kind of insane, and the disruption from the Seer Council in melee is pretty brutal. The problem with the Ogrins right now is they've lost 2 models. Technically the Bulgrins, of course, are better statistically in terms of damage and HP, but they're not actually better at dealing with melee troops than the Ogrins, because they lose the most important ability that the Ogrins have against melee, and that is Use Your Head, which gives you 2 waves of knockback in a melee fight. And 2 waves of knockback is an absolute game changer in a melee fight, so we're gonna have to see how these do. They will be able to eat up long rifle shots all day long with those nice slab shields, which give them extra resistance against ranged attacks. They have more HP than Ogrins. 600 HP per model. Super heavy infantry is pretty legit. But they don't have the on-demand knockback. So they're probably going to struggle quite a bit against Seer Council. I want to see that fight. Unfortunately, the Seers have gone to the right. Piluco really could do with a Lehman Russ, but unfortunately he keeps losing his gens, so it's not going to happen anytime soon. Seer Council once again going in. Nice special attack there from one of the Singing Spears. And another, and then a leap, and then the Banshees come in. Yeah, run away IG. Good use of the shells there, the mortar shells from the spotters. Both of them hitting pretty clean. Again, you see Distort Field used on those Seer Council. Can the Banshees get a Bulgrin? Nah. They got way too much HP. I wonder why they retreated. I think Piluco just wants the Bulgrins over here to help contend the Seers. They're running out of base again without full HP. Obviously he's got the stabilizers, but it'll be a lot less effective against Bulgrins. He's going for the Sarge as well.
Shall I remain on? I have gained their attention. We have it fast here.
Is that the medic kit to the Bulgrins? Or was that stabilizers? No, it's stabilizers, isn't it? Yeah.
We are losing a requisition point to the enemy. The enemy has 300 points remaining.
Yeah, that's not healing them amazingly. They do have some pretty good HP regen, which is the whole point of this unit. It is a big tank unit, that's the whole idea. Because you don't really want Kassakin to tank, so it gives you an infantry tank option. So that you don't have to rely on Lehman Russ to tank when the enemy has critical amount of AV on the field. But that's the thing right now, Dingus does not have a critical amount of AV on the field. He actually has not very much AV at all. The Wraith Guard technically would be AV, but again, you know, how the Wraith Guard hitting a Lehman Russ? They're too short range and they're very slow. You shouldn't be hitting a Lehman Russ. There's no Shuriken for transitional AV, bunch of rangers. And if we do see heavy melee spears on the Seer Council, then they're weaker against Bulgrins in melee, because they lose their power melee. Dingus. He's done a really good job actually denying the power. Piluco really needs to get more gens, I think. I don't know why. Yeah, okay, he's dropping one now. I dropped 2. I dropped one over here as well, or node that. Avatar for Dingus. I mean, why an avatar? Why not a fire prism? Why do Eldar players hate fucking fire prisms, man? I feel like everyone hates fire prisms. They got the buff recently down to 125 power, so same as a normal basic predator. But look at all these infantry blobs. Dispersed shot would be so good against them. Disrupt all this shit in the back line. And then, of course, when the Lehman Russ comes out, you've got a nice tool to chip away at it from afar. It outranges even the Vanquisher Lehman Russ. You would need more AV to stop them just charging your prism with the Lehman Russ, but still. Let's see what the Avatar can do. So he has got that nice buff to nearby Eldar, makes them immune to suppression and increases the damage of them all, I believe. I think it's damage, not DR. But of course, Whirling Doom misses, only hitting one Bullgrin, nothing new there. Chop up some Bullgrins, which alongside the Banshees of the Seers is going to lead to Bullgrins dying very quick. Look at that, immunity to suppression, just absolutely cooked those Bullgrins. Oh, Piluco completely forgot. But the Avatar path blocking his own units right now, but the Bullgrin's going to get wiped. Piluco forgot! He forgot the Avatar aura makes them immune to suppression, so the slab shields on the Bullgrins, they've got the electric that they can activate and it will suppress nearby units, giving them a control option. And he was trying to use that to slow down the Banshees and the Seers to stop them charging into his ranged fire line. But because the Avatar was nearby, the Seers and Banshees just completely ignored the suppression. And then the Bullgrins were left in the middle of Seers, Avatar, and Banshees, who did not have a speed debuff. They died. So big mistake there from Piluco. Forgot what the Avatar can do. And yeah, I guess the buffs there were amazing. The Fire Prism wouldn't have led to Bullgrins getting wiped. Then again, it did rely on the opponent misplaying and not knowing what your Avatar does. Oh man. So he got the Lehman Rust, but yeah, without the Bullgrins, this is going to be tough. The Eldar are just going to be able to run into melee. I mean, Dingus can now just split the Banshees and the Seers. One attacks this constantly, one attacks this constantly via this road, and I don't really know what they can do. Anytime the Lehman moves into this area to try and cover both VPs, you just push forward with the Avatar. And now he's got the Cloak of Shadows. So all nearby units not only are infiltrated, but they will get 15% damage reduction from ranged attacks. The Warlock himself will get 50% damage reduction from ranged attacks when the Cloak of Shadows is active. Now, using the Wailing Doom from the Cloak of Shadows is a lot more effective if you don't run your own units into it, Dingus! I think that damage was debuffed by the Cloak of Shadows. I think. Does that count as a ranged attack? I don't know, maybe. Maybe Sith Counselor just that tanky at level 2. Seemed to not take much damage at all there. But we see an Executioner, so now you go for Fire Prism as the Eldar if he has pop for it. He doesn't have pop for it. Wraithguard honestly have done fuck all game. Right now, I'd just like walk the Wraithguard into the enemy base and get a Fire Prism. And a Shuriken. These Wailing Dooms are honestly hitting his own units more than anything else. You've got to try and set the Wailing Dooms up with something else. You might want to consider Warp Throw. You get extra energy when you get the Cloak of Shadows, so it shouldn't be a problem. Hit the Warp Throw, pull them in, and then if they don't hit retreat and you see them going through mid-air, when they're mid-air you activate the Wailing Doom, and if you do that while they're mid-air, even if they react instantly, they still won't move out of the way fast enough because the unit has to stand up. Or you try and use Wailing Doom in retreat path, but obviously that's difficult with an Avatar when there's a tank going around. It's sort of good zoning you out. And yeah, there we go, we got some... Oh, we lost a Ranger. Yeah, I guess the long rifle Rangers aren't doing much. Oh, he just sacked his pistol Ranger. Fine. Now we can get the Prism. I really don't think the Wraithguard have done much all game. Though a burst of shots onto the Lehman from Cloak of Shadows could be quite good. I like this use of Flare to counter the Hollow Field and the Cloak of Shadows. It's pretty cool. There has been some pretty decent spotter play from Piluco. Oh man. Yeah, the Wraithguard there actually punishing the Guardsman quite a lot alongside the... Oh shit! Fucking focus shot on the Fire Prism just killed the Commissar on the Guardsman squad. And now you see this is the problem. So the Prism's able to just chip away the Lehman from afar. If the Lehman charges the Prism, the Avatar is in return going to counter-initiate. Because obviously a Lehman 1v1 with the Prism will just drive up and annihilate it because of the superior DPS and HP. But it doesn't have the range, so this happens. I mean, look at the range of that Prism, man. So high. Another really good flare, predicting the location. Just trying to deter with the Wailing Doom. Really could do with getting a unit in and decapping over here. I think this is getting a bit bold now, moving into base with the Fire Prism. Yeah, I wouldn't... Just relax a bit, mate. Yeah, there's another tank coming now. This one's got a Vanquisher on the way. So that's going to have extra range. Still not as high range as the Prism, but extra range will help. Banshee's not going to be able to finish the cap. Should have had the Banshees in a bit earlier when you were doing the Wailing Doom with the Avatar kind of thing, but Dingus is in such a good position. He's got so much resources, it's silly. Prism is so nice right now, just chipping down the Lemans constantly from so far away where they can't retaliate. And the Avatar does a beautiful job of zoning. Zoning and tanking, though Dingus didn't follow up with the Prism there though. Gotta keep the Avatar moving. If he stays still, that Executioner Leman's gonna hurt it a lot. It's the big downside of the Executioner Leman against moving targets. It's not the best. Prism is now vulnerable to being rushed if Piluco wants to go for it. Obviously, he doesn't know what's there. Yeah, Dingus sees the vulnerability, pulls it back. He's driving too close. He's trying to chase the Vanquisher. Yeah, he might not have seen. No, he should have seen the Executioners there, actually. Warlock chilling on the sidelines. I believe he still is invulnerable to damage if you use Cloak of Shadows plus Distort Field, or if he's not invulnerable then he's extremely close to it. Like he only takes 10% HP or something. Oh wow, bunker goes down, but one of the best counters in the game to a bunker is the Fire Prism. Which, oh, it's getting too close though right now. Why is the Fire Prism driving so close? Clearly a misclick. Rocket Run. No, it's only Creeping Basilisk Barrage. Why is the Avatar in base? Okay, Dingus is going all in. He gets the triple cap. Why did he just go all in? Replacing the Avatar with the Prism, but the Prisms lose 1-on-1 if the Lemans rush it. So I don't like this play, Dingus. This is kind of crazy actually. Wow, and now he's just charging all of his units forward into an IG firing line. This is not good. The Wraith Guard do kill the bunker. Oh, I think he was just desperate to kill the bunker. I don't really know why. Just relax, Dingus. You've got 140 VPs. You're good, man. Seers, though, will disrupt the Lord General. Man, he can't even finish the cap. Dingus is going to get this because Piluco's not sending anything over to the contested right now, which is unguarded. The spotters are on their way now, but would they get there in time? I'm not sure. General is capping the point. Yeah, there should be plenty of time. Ooh, rear arm hit. Ah! Rear arm, a Vanquisher plus Las Cannon nearly takes out that Prism. Prisms are hard to micro. I'll give Dingus count that. He's going to have enough time. The VP's not at 7 yet. So he'll have about 2 VPs remaining by the time he gets this decap. Piluco. But with Rangers it should be easy to sneak in. Rangers, Warlocks, Seer Council. Fucking hell. Again, drives the Prism way too far forward. Dingus is going crazy to try and close this game out. I don't know why. Relax, Dingus. You've got 140 VPs, man. Just relax. Seers with Distort Field and the Cloak of Shadows will tank amazingly, and now that they've got heavy melee they can zone out the Leman Ross very effectively. Whilst they're doing that zoning, you can use your double Prisms. The Prisms are shooting at infantry right now instead of shooting the Leman Ross. He could have got rear armor shots on that Leman, but he's too busy shooting the other Leman. So major misplays right now from Dingus. What is he doing? There's a Prism in the base, not doing anything. Please kill this Leman. Shoot it in the arse. Oh my god, Dingus! What are you firing at infantry for? Shoot the Leman! It showed its arse so many times. Oh man. But he's on the VP again with the Warlock. The Warlock's so tanky with that Cloak of Shadows. No Kassakin or Stormtroopers here for very high single target damage, and I think the Prisms might actually claim this Leman. Oh no, they're still firing at fucking infantry. This one's still in dispersed shot, which is not ideal. Morris. But yeah, the Warlock gets the VP. Wow, I thought he might have lost it there. Nearly thrown it. Jeez, Dingus, you had that so secured with the Avatar and the massive pile of resources in the back there in tier 3, but I feel like really panicking to try and end the game. Yeah, he had so many tools with the Rangers, this guy being practically unkillable if you just drop Distort Field on him. It's easy to get decaps. It's no problem. But yeah, nice showcase of the Eldar late game. I really loved the Avatar Suppression Aura becoming very effective against the Bulgrins. I've never seen that happen before. Absolutely bamboozled Piluco. Clearly. Very good use of spotters from Piluco. Decent use of the Lord General about as well as you can use him. Disappointed not to see any Autark and melee play in tier 2 from Dingus. I really think the Wraith Guard didn't do anything, to be honest. And to the extent that they did do something in the late game, it was mostly because of micro failings on behalf of Piluco. But I hope you enjoyed that one. A nice little showcase of IG. Torpid signing out.